Oh, of course. Someone just gave me an anonymous dollar tip saying, I guarantee that the people who troll you like this think you're completely faking your whole financial situation. Of course they are. Because they can continue to say that to make me look bad. Because what they're really trying to do, and this is the truth, what they're trying to really do is get me to show you something that's personal information that's going to fuck me. So what they want me to do is show you an email saying I got overdrafted so that they can compare that to other, banks and stuff who send out emails that say that to figure out what bank I have. Now they know what bank I use. Now they can try to hack my account and get into my bank and fuck me over for the rest of my life. That's what they really want out of the whole thing. That's what they want. They want to completely hurt me and fuck me over as much as they possibly can. That's why when I say, oh, I need help with my taxes, well, show us the tax letter that says that you owe taxes. If I show you the tax letter, now you're going to have personal information about me that you can use against me. You could impersonate me and call the tax office or do fucked up stuff. I can't show you personal information. That's dumb. That's dumb as shit. That's a child who would think that that's safe to do. But again, they want me to get so incensed about what's going on that I make a big mistake, right? So that I accidentally give out information that's now going to fuck me over in the long run, right? So, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And no, someone just said, oh, well, hacking a bank is a felony. No, not hack the bank. They should probably just sit there on a login screen for the bank all day trying to let me guess a million passwords and a million names and see if I can get into Phil's account. And you would think they wouldn't be able.
Choose your fighter.
LAKEY inspired. Fight.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Dspnews, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, special edition. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites, Mrhuth Stuff, DarkSydePhil. Minecraft is going on break. This is from October 22nd of 2019. Our current year of gout, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is nothing more than the continuation of the dismantling of the chill stream. It all started, to be honest, most people would say it was when MLB, that massive MLB rant, we've already gone over that. Some people could say that it started off with that, but in truth, I think it's a little bit more recent, given the fact that what happened in Super Turbo recently. That's obviously going to go on a undetermined hiatus for however amount of time. The main story behind that, amongst many stories that I've missed so far, is literally Phil ran from Evil AJ all night. For 2 hours, he basically ducked Evil AJ. And it was probably one of the most saddest things I've ever seen. It was just absolutely horrible. Now, granted, that right there was just the climax to what the buildup was over the last couple weeks. Phil ends up getting spanked by Evil AJ 2 sessions in a row. Then all of a sudden he wants to go into these mixed lobbies, if you will, that allows him to play through all 4 games that have online capability. And he was trying to sell it as, oh, this is variety. This is going to show you guys how versatile I am. These are games that I wouldn't normally play. So, it's going to help me out and make me better. And in actuality, he was just beating up on random people for the most part. There was nothing to be learned. There was nothing to be had. It was all just the duck Evil AJ. Then we get into the last session of Street Fighter, at least at the time that I'm recording this, when I don't think that's his official last session, so don't hold me to that. But the last session that everybody's seen is him ducking Evil AJ for 2 straight hours. One of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. Now, Twitter, I believe it was on Twitter, Evil AJ said that he had agreed with Tevin, praise be, in his assessment that obviously Phil's hatred and disdain for Evil AJ stems a lot deeper than just this is how you don't plays. I have to agree. But let me kind of give you guys my spin on it, if you will. because that's what all detractors and haters and critics do, is they just spin the truth, right? When you look at the history of Evil AJ and Phil, it's a long one. It extends a very, very long time. And it also has, I think, the most impact of just about anybody. Just about. Keyword. Just about. He probably had the most impact on Phil than just about anybody. Not just on YouTube, but in the FGC in general. Let me explain. When you think about Evil AJ, you immediately think about This Is How You Don't Play. Even though Phil came out recently and said, oh, he wasn't even the one who did the original This Is How You Don't Play, it was somebody else. Well, if that's the case, then why don't you have the disdain for that individual like you do for Evil AJ? That's the first lie. Second of all, or at least that's the first spin on his part. Second of all, Evil AJ's version, or his This Is How You Don't Play, if there was someone who pre-existed him, exists, and its reach is greater than probably anybody else before him. And some people even argue even after him. But I wouldn't go that far. I would say his influence has helped spawn a whole cornucopia of very talented individuals that come out there and do their own spin on This Is How You Don't Play. And with that being said, Phil can never beat that. Now, granted, you got to give Phil... You don't have to give Phil shit. But Phil did try to strangle Evil AJ's original This Is How You Don't Play in the crib. He tried. Didn't work. Because Phil fails at everything that he does. So, when it was re-uploaded later on, it just picked up from where it left off. Phil couldn't win. So, because of his animosity for the original one that he had taken down, he gave it life. Which is what Evil AJ wanted, I would think. I don't know. I can't speak for Evil AJ. But, it garnered attention. And, you know, whenever something catches Phil's attention, he goes off on a tantrum. You know what I'm saying? He goes off the rails. As if he was on the rails in the first place. So it did its job. And that shit eats at Phil even to this day. No one could have expected that. You know what I mean? And especially with a lot of the research that I'm doing on that channel that I'm not supposed to talk about. When we start getting into... Because eventually we're going to get there. When we get to the whole situation with the false copyright claims on the fan art, quote unquote, that right there, the impact of that, I don't think stings as much as This Is How You Don't Play does. Because This Is How You Don't Play caused Phil to bleed. And you guys saw his pain, you saw his anguish, and he never was able to shake it off. He wasn't man enough to move away from it. I've talked about it before on this channel that realistically, somebody with better business sense would have reached out to Evil AJ and worked out an agreement, a business agreement, and everybody could have profited. There could have been a whole nother market for all that and everybody get paid. But Phil couldn't do that. Ego's too big, he was too arrogant, and he thought he could just squash him. He literally thought he could strangle it before it ever really happened. And he failed miserably. Because of that, then you have the great This Is How You Don't Play creators who came afterwards. And whatnot. Too many to name. But they know who they are. So he just couldn't stop it. So that's the first notch on Evil AJ's belt, if you will. But that right there goes back to... Now that's going to lead into my next point, what Evil AJ had said on Twitter, and what Tevin said on his stream, because I had a chance to watch it. Is Super Turbo was Phil's second chance in the FGC. Let me explain. Evil AJ took, with This Is How You Don't Play, Evil AJ dismantled the image that Phil had on YouTube. He's this Let's Player, he plays everything when it comes out. You know, he's not used to playing all these games because he played Street Fighter for so long, but he's probably one of the number one players. He's probably one of the most talented players in the country. He's someone who can pick up a controller and play any game at a professional level. Evil AJ squashed that shit early. Now, granted, Phil was probably drunk through most of that playthrough anyway. He's drunk through most of them, to be honest. So you could give Phil that wiggle room if you want, but either which way. But Evil AJ ends up stamping that out. Done. You couldn't do anything right by that game series, and then you decided to shit on it, and Kojima, and now you're going to get shitted on. And it held on, and Phil held on to that all the way up to this day. But let's talk about the second reason, the FGC. Phil gets ran out of the FGC, right? For all the shenanigans he pulled or whatnot, comes back to YouTube and tries to build his mythos. A component, if you will, of his legacy and whatnot. I was the number 4. I took 4th place at EVO 2005. I was the number 1 ranked Super Turbo player that year. No one can ever take that away from me. I have won multiple qualifiers in the years following that, but I never got back to the big dance again. And you guys can say whatever you guys want to say about the port that he played on, but he believes that he demands respect. If he won, maybe people would give it to him. But since you took 4th in a very shitty port, only proves that everything you touch is shit. And you failed at the one thing that you went out of your way to compete in the hopes that you could get that first place finish at EVO. You failed at that. You tried to cheat. Let's take that back. You tried to play the system to get recognition, to chase clout, so you could be up there with the greats who have taken first at EVO in whatever game. And you failed at that. And then had the nerve to say I was the number 1 ranked American player for that year. So that's the mythos. And then all the EVO qualifiers afterwards, and then all the notable names that he's played. He has played against the greats. He's beaten a few of them, but he's not great himself. So on YouTube was his second chance to rebuild, to go ahead and rebuild, to build the mythos in his own image, the way it should have been, the way he wanted it to be. Then we bring in Evil AJ. Goes ahead and cuts him down, which this is how you don't play, and then proceeds to beat him in the one thing that he holds most dear, Super Turbo. You know, that game that Phil has played since the very beginning, since he waddled into his first arcade and picked and asked mommy or daddy or whoever it was to give him some change, and he beat everybody mashing with Honda. That's how the legend started. That's how it was birthed. And Evil AJ comes in and squashes all of that. All of those years of Phil playing, all of those tournament wins, qualifier wins, all those tournament wins, whatever. All that 4th place finish at EVO, all of that shit gets swept to the side. Because you can't beat this guy here who was a former fan of yours. And someone who's out there, in air quotes, slandering you and your gameplay. And you can't even beat him. And as the years went on, Evil AJ got better and progressed and continued to evolve while Phil devolved. He degressed. He only got worse. His reflexes got bad. His reactions got bad. He talked about all this knowledge that he had, about all this, how he specialized in certain characters, and then they all got dismantled. He talks about how people don't know how to play the game properly. People don't know how to choose the right, don't even know or can't agree on what the right speed is for the game. And if it was at the proper speed, I'd win. But your biggest success came from a port that was inferior. And everybody universally across the board accepted that. But you didn't. Now, I did make a clarification. Or I made a mistake, I'm sorry. I had said that in 2005 that Takedo actually won that year, Super Turbo. He didn't. He actually took 3rd. NA is another Japanese player. He actually took 1st. So my apologies. I actually found that out recently. I had to go back and look. So my apologies on that. But either way, still 3 Japanese players beat Phil in this cheap-ass port. Fast forward a couple years and Evil AJ's out there toying with you. You're the man. You're the one that said in all throughout Street Fighter 4 that none of these guys know how to play a game properly, and if this was Super Turbo, you'd beat them at every stop. You said the same thing with Street Fighter 5. But now, in the very game that you're supposedly so good at, you get beat. Every version that ever came out for the game, at least in recent times, Modern Era, Marinera, we're just going to call it the Marinera, if you will, Phil bought each and every one of those games, and he kept getting beat by silly shit, or he just got beat because he just got beat, and he had all the excuses in the world. Oh, these Marinera, you know what I'm saying, players don't know how to play the game properly. You know what I'm saying? It's online bullshit. Oh, it's all these online tactics, yada, 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 yada. But you're the one with 20 years of experience. You're the one who should have seen a lot of that. Even after he left Connecticut and he traveled around. He should have been able to see. He's seen new techniques. He's seen new flowcharts. He's seen new tactics. I mean, I'm not saying you can overcome everybody, and certainly can't do it online, but he should have been able to do it enough to beat the majority of his opposition. That's not what happened. At least not completely. So, it is what it is. But that's where Evil AJ has struck him. He struck him at the base of not only his legacy, but of the mythos, but of his being itself. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you go ahead and hang your hat on something that's rather minuscule, that doesn't mean very much. It only means a lot to you. And you only chose that because you didn't have much in the first place. So you clung on, you cling on to whatever you could get your hands on. Yeah, I made that pun on purpose. It is what it, you see. Haven't you guys not seen Phil's forehead lately? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so that's what Evil AJ has really taken away from Phil. He's taken away more than maybe even Evil AJ has realized in his own. He may have never realized how much he's taken away from Phil, from DarkSydePhil, but he did, and that's the reality. So, Minecraft is just another part of it. After that whole situation with what was that guy named DJ Runo, and that whole scam. I haven't gone over that yet. But after DJ Runo felt like he got screwed over, now all of a sudden Phil wants to put that on the back burner. Now, I haven't reported on that yet. I will, eventually. But after all of that, you can kind of understand why it's going away. Evil AJ ran him off of Super Turbo. DJ Runo is running him off Minecraft. What else is on the chill stream? There's PUBG. I think he's going to hold on to that. That's rant heavy. Even when the new Modern Warfare comes out, he's still going to get bodied. So he could try to put that as a chill stream too, and you can have his variety, but he's still going to get worked either which way. The chill streams are dying out. Possibly. They're definitely starting to get on life support. And these new releases, all these games that he's hyping up, let's see how long it takes him to beat some of these games. Let's see if he can even afford them, allegedly. Or someone's just going to mysteriously swoop in with a couple $100 behind the scenes and give him all the credits for it. Things aren't looking good in Goutopia, ladies and gentlemen. It's real, or Central Goutopia anyway. No, Northern Goutopia, sorry. That's where Twitch is. It's not looking very good. And with the whole thing going on behind the scenes, I still hold on to the narrative that it's probably a child. If so, Kat has a week off. Some people are saying 2 weeks maybe. Why is she taking 2 weeks off all of a sudden? She's been there for 2 years. Did she not? When did she take all that vacation time off last year? More importantly than that, not only is she taking all this time off, but now you have visitors too. Now, Tevin brought up a very good point, praise be, that, you know, at one time in the past, Panda had friends over too. So that is what it is. But this doesn't sound like friends. This sounds like family. And then, like I said, with the discovery of that half-sister out there, who could say? And Phil has a lot of rooms that are that aren't necessarily being occupied. I'm not saying that a family member would move in. I'm not saying that's a thing. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I still hold on to the narrative that there might be a kid in the mix. We'll have to wait and see if there's a little piglet that ends up popping up out of that. Should be an interesting situation all around. But I've spoken long enough. Let's go ahead and get into this video. And hopefully we can pull something interesting out of it. The next couple of videos will more than likely be like this until I get back into the Snort report. I need to get back into the groove of that. So, hope you guys enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News Special Edition. And I'll literally see you guys in just a second.
You win.
So that's tonight. It's 2 hours of Minecraft chill stuff tonight. I hope you guys are excited. Please, guys, I have to be, you know, up front here. If you want to help me out the most right now tonight, please either tip me or please, if you can check out my Amazon wish list by typing !wishlist in the chat and getting me either some PlayStation Network credits or some Nintendo Shop credits so I can afford the games coming out in the next couple of weeks. I really need the help right now.
And for good reason. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites, Mrhuth Stuff, DarkSydePhil. Minecraft is going on breaks from October 22nd, 2019, our current year of Gout. Now, I think I touched on this a little bit earlier, but if not, we'll do a quick overview. So, it's to my general understanding that there's about 8 games that Phil wants to play coming up over the span of the next month or so, going over 3 different platforms. Now, as I had stated, at least I'm pretty sure I did, that Phil was saying the other night on stream that, hey guys, I really need you guys to support. I really was expecting you guys to give me more tips, because if not, I'm not going to have the money to get Modern Warfare, which comes out like in a day or two, literally. Well, there's people already playing it now, but you know what I mean. It's literally coming out in a day or two. With that being said, if he can't even scrounge up money for Modern Warfare, despite the fact that didn't he get a couple $100 tips over the span of the last week or so, as well as like a $200 tip sometime in the last week or two, but now we don't have money to get Modern Warfare, how does he expect to afford 6 or 7 more big release titles? How's that going to be a thing? And according to Kiwi Farms as well as Twitter, there's not a whole lot of participation on that Amazon wish list. The Patreon is still the same, so why isn't he using Patreon money to go ahead and buy these games? Ladies and gentlemen, his viewership is dwindling, but he is making more money. So how is it that we don't have the money to afford these games? It's quite the dilemma, I'm sure. Here we go.
It's one of the reasons why I'm a little late tonight. I was running around looking at my financials, realizing that some things are not as good as I thought they were. I'm like, oh shit. And got caught up with a bunch of stuff there, and that's why the stream started so late. And looking at the next month that I have to afford so many games, I'm really nervous. So please, if you can contribute tonight, and you're going to, and you're looking to be top contributor, please either tip me or...
And another thing I'd like to point out, and this is what should happen. This is what should happen. You guys remember how he made that big deal about Dragon Quest Builders? You know, that game he's struggling to try to finish? And how it was the first time in 11 years that he couldn't get a game on release day? I think it would be a blow to him if he couldn't get these games too. Which is, I'm surprised he hasn't brought that out yet. I'm surprised he hasn't gone into his bag, if you will, and said, hey guys, I really don't... I know we had that situation earlier on in the year with Dragon Quest 11 and how I wasn't able to play it. It was the first release in 11 years that I wasn't able to afford to play. The hardcore begging season... I'm sorry. The hardcore gaming season hasn't gone very well, which it hasn't. And I really need these games to try to go into the end of the year, or the... What does he call it? The generous holiday season? Whatever. Whatever he words it. I need these games to carry us into the holiday season, you know, because I'm really going to depend on your guys' generosity and support when the holidays come up, which I've already said that. And so he really needs these games. And I think as time goes on, especially if it's the very last minute when he starts to actually get these games, you're going to see more and more of the desperation. But something that I've already put out there a few broadcasts ago, that I think he's actually hoarding credits. I think he's hoarding credits. He's hoarding points. Some of the games that he's mentioned out of the 8 big games that are coming out, he wants real bad. And he's been talking about it for the majority of the year. I guarantee you, he's not going to miss those titles. You know what I mean? Out of the 8, I'd say at least 4 of them, maybe 5, the ones that he really wants, he's going to get those. The money will mysteriously come up out of nowhere, just like the money for that television, right, for his 4K television. But he's going to get them, for sure. The other ones, go ahead and guilt trip them into the holiday season. Oh, I really wanted to play those games, guys, but I can't because no one came through with the credits, or no one was willing to buy the game for me, or whatever the case may be. Enough of you guys didn't tip me, or whatever the case may be, so I'm going to have to play those later on down the line. And he can literally guilt trip them through all the way into the holiday season, all the way up till Christmas for that. And on top of that guilt trip, it's not going to be just them supporting him on stream. But when he actually does finally play the game, he's going to guilt them for even more support during those gameplays, those playthroughs, as well as he'll probably try to do it on YouTube as well. And the reason for that is, hey guys, it's kind of, I mean, I put myself in this really bad financial situation, as well as detractors, but you guys, I really need you guys to come out and support me. And now some of the newer games that are going to come out in the beginning of the year, I'm not going to be able to play because I'm still trying to catch up on these releases that I asked you guys for back in October, November. You see how the scam's going to work? And so with that being said, I would hope that people call his bluff on that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, tap on the table, check, and see what he does. To be honest. Like, we got a 37-year-old man who has a condo and a house, or a condo and a townhouse, however you want to word it, and who's still making, barely, but still making 6 figures. I don't care how much debt that he has, which is why the whole 6-figure argument that people like to put out there kind of becomes a bit irrelevant when he obviously has more debt than his actual yearly income. So realistically, his 6 figures aren't even his 6 figures. That belongs to somebody else. But for the sake of argument, we can continue to put that out there because it should be reiterated. He did this to himself. DarkSydePhil, DSP, Phil Burnell had all the opportunities in the world to save his money and to do well by himself. There's no reason why he shouldn't be living comfortably at 37. Was he going to live high off his hog hide for the rest of his life? No. But he certainly could have lived comfortably. If he had made the changes that he needed to make back in 2011, he could have had that large viewership. He could have garnered that large audience that he keeps harping on about as of late, that he should have had. He chose not to. And these are the consequences. And for him to go on and keep blaming people for his own mistakes is disgusting. But it's all he has. And since that's all he has, then we're going to dismantle it. Because why not? So here we go.
You can get something off the Amazon wish list, okay? And I'll keep track of that. And thank you to anyone who does. All right. Let us move ahead. Bustin Myers cheered and said, I remember back in the day when mentioning Penne or Lean-In bands were an instant perma ban. It's funny how things change. Yeah, because I don't care anymore. It's like I said, those don't seem to be like negative. Are they poking fun at me? Yes. Are they really nasty, defamatory, hurtful things to say about me? No. So why treat them as such? Own the memes.
So hold on, let me finish. I'm sorry.
Laugh at them, and they are not harmful anymore. You know what I mean? It's funny. I have emotes, I have Penne points. Everything's fine with those now, right? You got to embrace them. As long as they're not so nasty and hurtful, right? That's okay in my opinion. So by the way...
Okay, so a couple things. One, trigger the libs, own the libs, basically. He basically went into his best Monday Matt impression. Good for him. Now, it's my understanding as well that Phil is hoping that they can monetize, or that Twitch will eventually monetize this whole channel point system, or his Penne points, if you will. I'm hearing that. That's going to be interesting, I suppose. This is the same guy, right, who had multiple articles written on him and said that racist jokes are okay, but don't make fun of my gout and my nasal drip. So nasal drip, because it's not post nasal drip, but nasal drip and gout is off limits. It's not funny. Those aren't memes. Snort is not a meme. That can't be owned. That can't be laughed at. That can't be profited off of. Okay, that's a bit hypocritical, but okay. That kind of makes you look like a dumbass, being that you want to defend racist jokes, but you consider nasal drip or gout as either slanderous or hurtful or disgusting. Okay, sure, whatever.
This is Joe Obama now, and this is Peter the Spider. Peter the Spider. Those are the two characters we got from just events I did in the last week where people wanted to name stuff. So we got Joe Mama and Peter. Pretty funny. You know, I yawned a couple times and people are being complete dicks about it. Oh, Phil yawned. He's so tired and he's so that. It's a combination of many factors, including stress and, you know, it would be nice if you guys could give me a break and not try to, like, tease me on my fucking stream, because I really could use a break and just have a nice, fun stream tonight instead of being teased that I yawned, okay? Okay.
So we're 37, and this is what we've been broken down to. Boy, if this is pregnancy, if this is the fact that that Catherine's pregnant, boy, he thinks that things are bad now. Wait till that kid come out. Wait till that kid come out. It's just going to get a whole lot worse for you. If you can't deal with what's going on now, with the child not even be brought into the world yet, and her family, if this is the situation, if this is my own personal scenario, if you will, if the family's there as we're getting closer and closer to delivery day, right? If you can't handle this, you're going to have a whole lot worse later on down the line. A whole lot worse. So, very funny. Now let's talk about the second thing that we're getting into, because his desperation for money and his mood as of late is rather interesting. As you know, he's a bit more irritable. He certainly seems, I guess, his depression starting to kick back in because it's convenient, right? But then his thirst for money has gone a very, I mean, it was always pathetic, but it's starting to get even more pathetic now. We're naming off stuff in the house. Like, we're actually auctioning off stuff to be named. This is what it's come down to. Now, granted, most people would say, and I would agree with them, that Phil is going to win in the end, because all that right there is going to be up there for a month, and then boom, it goes right back into the closet and shit. So who cares? But this is what it's come down to, where the desperation is to the point where you have to auction off naming different items and decorations. Basically, we're naming off decorations. The same decorations, ladies and gentlemen, that in a year he's not going to remember anyway. And even if he does, it won't matter, because he'll probably just re-auction off the names again. I don't get it. I don't get it. But there's something that's driving this desperation. Whatever it was is up to him. If it is a pregnancy, let's say, because that's what I still think it is. If it's possible that Catherine held off on telling him until she was to the point where nothing could be done, then that might explain Phil's frustration. It could explain some of his stress. Because Phil seems very, very adamant on not having kids. Catherine, on the other hand, she don't feel that way. That was very, very obvious from, what was that? The IRL stream that they had together. It was either number 2 or number 3 when that was brought up. Or no, it might have been number 1. It was either number 1 or number 2 when it was brought up. And you could see the disappointment on her face when that was said. Who gives a shit on what Phil said they agreed on? There's very few people out there who don't want to be parents. So even if you have to use this pig roach here as a sperm donor, it's still a thing. So for Phil to try to take that away from her in the same way that he took away her online presence, I think she decided to bite back or kick back, whatever. Because if you really look at the circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, as far as we know, she doesn't have an online presence at all. She doesn't have a Twitter. I guess she may or may not have a Facebook, I don't know. But she doesn't have Twitter. She definitely doesn't use her Twitch anymore. She's not using her YouTube channel. She basically has been cut off from all of her avenues to interact with the online world, for the most part. Now, maybe she has another account out there like Panda does that we don't know about. It's possible. But for the most part, she's been completely cut off. And now you want to take away, if she actually does want it, you want to take away the right for her to be a mother too? It seems to be a bit too much. It seems to be a price that was a little too high to pay. In my own personal opinion, of course. DSP News.
So, are penny points worth money? No, they are not. Penny points are completely free. What's got me more stressed than usual, Daggers? It's money stuff, dude. It's always fucking stupid, annoying money stuff. Because, you know, I'm already on the edge of being able to pay the important stuff, and now I got all these games coming up, and you know, not to be ungrateful, because people have been very grateful with tips and everything, but I haven't really received any PlayStation Network credits or anything recently, and I'm like, damn, so now all the tips that came in have to go towards the games, and now how am I going to afford that? You know, it's just very fucking stressful right now. It's a really stressful time for me. That's all it is. I don't want to sit here and talk about it all night, you know. The best way for us to handle it would be to not address it, to talk and hang out and have fun, play Minecraft, and if contributions come in, great, and go from there, okay?
Did he say play Minecraft? Anyway, first things first. So Phil has been promoting over the last year or so is I need to use my tips. I need you guys to tip me so I can use that to pay my bills. So we started the whole Amazon wish list to help buy games. We all know this. Here's the thing that's being consistently pointed out is that he still has a Pay Me Tons, a Patreon, that is still flushed with money, well, $400 or $500 each month. Why can't he just divert those funds over to purchasing these games, which in turn is going to continue to make him more money? Why not do that? Because it's kind of it's weird for someone who makes between $8,000 and $12,000 a month off Twitch alone, by the way, to need every little drop he can get off Patreon too, when he needs to keep doing what he's doing to make a living. It makes no sense why he can't divert funds. We can't make a detour with that. It seems very strange. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, on top of the whole 8 games that we spoke about earlier that he's struggling to try to get, I want to take you guys back to a broadcast I've done a little while ago. How is he going to afford the new consoles? How is he going to afford the Xbox Scarlet and what is now the PS5? Even though the PS5 is not slated for what? I think that's the holidays of 2020, I should say. So he's got a little bit more time with that, but the Scarlet's right around the corner. I think that's within the first period or first quarter of 2020. How's he going to be able to afford that if he can't even scrounge up money for games now? It seems like DarkSydePhil is heading into some even darker times, ladies and gentlemen. And it doesn't look like there's too many large lifelines to pull him out. Just saying. If you think if he thinks this holiday season is going to be super, super generous, unless Planet Jeff ends up coming through on the plug, but then Planet Jeff got doxxed, but that is what that is. Unless Planet Jeff decides to come in on the flip with a couple $1,000s for Thanksgiving and Christmas. The beginning of 2020 is going to be rough for Phil, especially when the tax talk should start back up again. The same tax talk that I would think Mommy and Daddy Burnell are taking care of. But who can say? Just trying to throw some facts out there, or at least the scenario anyway.
Sam, Timmy $2 says, do you think in 2 years now I'll look back and see I mock Fortnite the same way I used to mock Minecraft? No, because I've already explained this a million times. I guess you don't listen, but I'll explain it again. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, I've literally answered this question like 4 times in the past week. Let me try again. Listen up this time, okay?
So you're irritated that you have to repeat this situation for the 5th time, but yet you can sit there and give people the same pity-patty story about your finances and how you need people to support you every day, 2 or 3 times a day? That doesn't seem fair. And how do you know that he's even been there every day? It might have been a week or 2 since that guy showed up. Maybe, just maybe, he may actually have the volume turned off while you're going through your bullshit and waits for the actual gameplay to come up. He may not even show up until the actual gameplay shows up. So maybe that is just, maybe at least beforehand, that was inconsequential to him. He didn't care. I don't know. I just feel like that's a bit unfair.
The difference between my opinions on Fortnite and Minecraft are different because Minecraft back in the day was a game that was virally popular. Yes, let's admit it, a lot of kids loved it. It was known as the kiddie game, although admittedly there were a lot of adults who liked it too. It was a game that had different kind of audiences depending on how you play Minecraft. Some people like the sandbox styling building aspects. Some people just like fighting monsters and surviving. People like Minecraft for various different reasons. And the game evolved over time and had a very wide player base of people of all ages. I was very biased.
But that doesn't make it a kiddie game then if it has a large group of people. If it has a large group of people who play it. That's the first thing. Same thing with Fortnite. Now keep in mind, this is from the same idiot, ladies and gentlemen, who said Fortnite was a kiddie game and that people have to run around with multicolored hair to garner audiences, and that's how they get these kids, these dumb kids, in his words, not mine, to give him money. That's what it came down to. Phil shitted on Minecraft for being a kiddie game because, one, he has no creativity at all. Let's go ahead and go. Actually, let's wait. And then I'll see if I can try to establish the timeline as best as possible.
Played it at all, but instead I shat on it. I shat on it in streams, or not streams, I shat on it in videos, I shat on it in vlogs, I shat on it on Ask the King. Every opportunity I got, I was like, oh, Minecraft's for kids, it's a kiddie game, why does anyone care about that, blah, 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 right? Serious gamers like me would never talk about that or anything like that, right? So, I was very uninformed and very stupid about the subject, and I would talk ass about it. Talk trash about it is what I meant to say. Talk ass. Like an ass. I would talk trash about it. And then, after years and years and years of being biased, I did an event where people were like, we want you to play Minecraft. And I was like, okay, fine. People really want me to play it. I'll play it. I played it and ended up liking it. I was like, wow, I actually like the game myself. I was so stupid that I ignored it and I paid no attention to it and I talked shit about it instead of trying it for myself to know what it actually was. And that's on me being a closed-minded idiot for years, okay? Now, with Fortnite, here's the difference.
Now, let me cut in. So he said, you heard it, he spent years chatting on it. He had a special event where he asked people for him to play it. He played it, and he liked it. Now, that's not completely true. First things first. Phil's first Minecraft video ever, just a second. All right, it's titled Minecraft First Run Ever Part 1, Brave New Pixel World. That video, it was published March 6th of 2015. After 5 years, and let me read you a little bit of the description. Wow. 5 years late, or so after 5+ years, per fan request and Patreon funding, I'm finally trying out Minecraft. That's when he tried it 5 years ago. Okay, that's when the first episode came out. Now let's talk about this chill stream bullshit, which is what he's trying to feed you guys in right now. That special event. Because it's all in how he words shit. Now, so remember, it was March 6th of 2015 was the first time he ever tried Minecraft. He's been shitting on it since 2010. His special event in the first video that came out on Minecraft, part of the chill stream, was Minecraft chill stream from December 12th of 2018. 3 years later. A little more than 3 years. 3 years later. Which is when he started to play it as a chill stream. So, how is it that this man, let's go by his logic. So, how is it that he had a special event, he decided to try the game, and he actually liked it? 2015. But then put the game off for 3+ years to start playing it as a chill stream. How does that work? And he only played the game not because it was a special event. It was because he got paid to. He got paid $1,250 to play the game. And let me give you some perspective. His very first Minecraft sessions, the original run, in 2015, is only 29 episodes long. His chill stream Minecraft playthrough list is 108 videos long. See the difference? So, he's a fucking hypocrite. At the end of the day. He's a goddamn hypocrite. For having the nerve to say any of that. But, it's Phil's world. And as you know, all he cares about is nuts and balls and and apparently ass. So, let him have what he wants. But, I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was going to be an interesting look. Let's see what he thinks about Fortnite.
Played Fortnite. I played it when it was brand new in 2017. I played it later that year when they updated it to have lots more customization and interesting stuff. And I tried it again in early 2018. I've played it 3 different times. Admittedly, I haven't played it in about a year. But I played it 3 different times. I know exactly what Fortnite is because it is all over social media. It's Battle Royale, and they keep redoing the map, so it has new little areas here or there, little tweaks to the map or whatever. Sometimes they add a lot more customization options, so you keep pumping in the dollars for the microtransactions. But in general, Fortnite is almost identical to when I played it, with a few changes. Like now you can fish. Now you can pick up the body of your downed teammate and carry them around so they don't just stand out in the open and it's impossible to do anything to help them, right? It's different, okay? It's different. I understand that. I understand that, you know, they changed a few things. But in reality, they didn't change that much. The game is almost exactly the same as when I played it. I actually took the time to play it to understand what the game is. And after playing Fortnite, after playing PUBG, after playing H1Z1, after playing Black Ops 4 Blackout, all these Battle Royale games. Okay, oh, Apex Legends this year I played, right? I don't like Fortnite. The reason I don't like it is, number one, the gunplay is not precise enough. It actually has an RNG factor where you will shoot straight and miss, and I don't like that. I don't like building in a Battle Royale game. I want to.
You can't shoot straight anyway, so that doesn't really matter regardless. I mean, to be honest with you, Blackout as well as PUBG kind of prove that.
That's a pure game. If it's Battle Royale, fine. It's Battle Royale. Now, Battle Royale, plus you could build a tower and a trampoline and bounce backwards and do stupid things with walls to make cover and stuff like Minecraft. I want a pure game. I don't want a hybrid game. I don't like the fact that they took the idea of Minecraft and combined it with Battle Royale that was pretty much ripped from other franchises like PUBG, H1Z1, and taped it into a game that's the most popular, like, video game ever. That's stupid as hell to me. I don't even understand. Like, the game's not original. That reminds me of Destiny. When Destiny came out and I gave it a fair shot, I played it. It's Halo combined with Borderlands. There's nothing original about this game. In fact, half the enemies look like they've been stolen from those franchises. And everyone kissed the game's ass, and it was the biggest seller of the year, and everything was crazy for Destiny. I'm like, why? Why is this game popular? Can you empirically give me evidence of why this game is so good? And of course, no one can. It's just hype. And that's really what it is with Fortnite. It's hype. It's a free battle royale.
And how long has Fortnite been out? And how long has it been hyped up? And how many millions, tens of millions, arguably hundreds of millions of dollars that have been made, not by the company itself. They've made billions of dollars. That shit prints money. But people who have actually played the game. How much money has Dr. Disrespect made off that game? How much money has Shroud and Ninja made off that game? Tim the Tatman. A lot of those dudes. I'm not even talking about them. Like, you can just go ahead and move down to the next tier. Just the original people who played the Battle Royale game before the bigger guys picked it up. How much money did they make? How big did their YouTube channels get? How much money is Tfue making? And I joked about it a couple broadcasts back, but he turned down $140,000 to be made in one day in playing, I think all he had to do was play Madden. He turned all of that down. 8 hours. $140,000 for 8 hours of playing Madden to play in a Fortnite tournament. Well, to train or to scrim to play in a Fortnite tournament. How much money is Tfue making then if he can turn down $140,000? In actuality, I would have just done both. He could have easily have played his 8 hours and then scrimmed for 3 and be straight. But whatever, that's his choice. If he's that dedicated to the game or if he loves the game that much, so be it. But then again, with that being said, how much money is he making if he can turn down $140,000? Think about that. Think about that. And he only plays, well, Tfue plays some other games too, but he's mainly known for his Fortnite. So how much is he getting off of Fortnite that he could turn down $140,000? You guys ever thought about that? Phil hasn't. Now let's talk a little bit about some of his points with the random RNG with shooting or whatnot. To a degree, he's right, but then again, you have to be a bit more accurate. You have to pick your spots. Phil's not a good shooter though. He's just not. Phil is like a pseudo ambush type player. He catches people making mistakes when he's about to make a mistake, and he just gets lucky. From a distance, he can't shoot shit for shit. Up close, he has a better shot. But even then, he's still bad. As for the building aspect, he looks at it, he doesn't look at the actual strategy of it. He doesn't actually see the offense and the defensive benefits to it. He really doesn't. He thinks of it as just stupid, it's a waste of time, it's just going to get you shot. But yet again, there is an offensive and defensive premise behind it. There's a metagame to that. But Phil don't understand it. Phil don't understand it because he don't want to understand it. He looks at the game, he sees his kiddie shit. He only played it to get to basically try to profit off of that hype that he talks with such disdain. And when he didn't get enough of that hype and he proved to just be bad at the game, he gave it up. Same thing, with the same reason why he played H1Z1. He played that over hype. He wasn't good at it. He ended up giving it up. Same thing with PUBG for a while. If it wasn't for that random person who came in and was willing to throw $100 at him or $200 if he can make it to number one, who knows how long he would continue to play that. And then with Blackout, the only reason why he kept playing Blackout for as long as he did is because he camped not efficiently enough, but he camped well enough to where he could scrounge out a couple of wins. If you look at Phil's total time, or all the total times that Phil has ever played Blackout, and then you look at his wins, I guarantee you it probably makes up less than 10%. That's not very good, obviously. So what's the point? The game, he took a game and he made it as simplistic as possible, and then he was able to scrounge some wins off of it. as what he does with his life in a lot of ways. So he can sit there and shit on Fortnite all he wants, and this is where this thing gets kind of important. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you can have your opinion of whatever you want to have your opinion of. That's fine. Here's the thing: no one, and if people keep bringing up a game to you that you don't want to play, just say you don't want to play it. Phil goes out of his way to shit on it. Phil likes to tell you guys, "Oh, I don't shit on other people, or I don't shit on other games. I just give my honest opinion if it's brought up." Well, that's your problem, though. People have already heard your opinion on the game. You've already said it before. You just complained at a guy earlier that you had to say the same thing 4 or 5 times, and you're tired of repeating yourself. Then why do you got to keep bringing up why you hate Fortnite so much? Because you don't actually hate. You hate Fortnite because the game's too complicated for you, and you're not good at it. You don't have the creativity, you don't have the reflexes, you don't have the reactions, you don't have what it takes to compete in a what would be considered somewhat of a Twitch shooter. You just don't have it, and that's fine. You have limitations. You have limitations mainly because of your own thought process, because of how you've lived your life and how you've conducted yourself. But hey, tomato, tomato. That's your fault. End of story. The thing is Phil doesn't want to accept that as his fault. That's what it really comes down to. You just can't compete, period. But here's the second problem. All of these people who made successful channels off of it, all these people who go on stream and make thousands of dollars every time they play to do so. All he cares about is popularity and money, and he has neither. He tried, but he has no personality. He has nothing that makes you want to engage him unless it's trolling. There's nothing positive about him. He don't know shit. He barely reads anything outside of what he reads on Twitter. He don't know nothing. He's out of his time period, if you think about it, in a lot of ways. The only thing that he's up to date with is probably wrestling. Well, not wrestling, WWE. And that's it. Talk to him about New Japan. Talk to him about Lucha Underground. Talk to him about any other federation and see what he can tell you. If he can tell you anything. I know he's trying to get into, what is that? AEW, I think. He said he's trying to get into that. But other than that, what can he really bring to the table? He doesn't watch sports. He doesn't watch a lot of television, except for little shit here or there. None of that shit's really interesting. He's what? He hit the highlight of his week is what? Him going back and watching season 4 or season 5 of SpongeBob? What does he have? He has nothing. And then if he talks to you about aspects of his life, people are going to pick that shit apart and then everybody's going to make a video on it. So what does he really have? He boxed himself in. And he's done it in such a way that he can't get himself out. Instead of looking at the aesthetics of a game, why don't you just take the time to actually learn it? Oh, well, I can't. I'm so busy. I got a business to run, and I don't have time to focus on this one game. But he can play Dark Souls over and over and over again. No problem. He can do all these redemption runs for fucking games that no one gives a shit about. He only plays those games again. The whole point of the redemption run, most people will tell you that, oh, he's doing it because he wants to show you that he's better at the game. No, almost pulled a Phil there. Yes, to a degree that's true. But the other half of it is, let me reword that. It is true. He does that because he tries to show you guys that he's better at the game, even though he's not. He gets handheld through it. So that's a minute point at this point. But the second thing is for him to remonetize playthroughs that he doesn't make a lot of money off of anymore. He's basically it's like taking wedding cake that you had in the freezer for a year and bringing it back out and eating it again. It's kind of like that. That's all he's doing. It's like leftover pork chops that you cooked what you needed and then you freeze it. As you guys know, Phil don't do that. If you guys saw his taco video with Cooking with the King, anything that he doesn't need outside for what he wanted to make, it just gets tossed. But if he had some common sense, he would have wrapped it up, put it back in the refrigerator. Or he would have cooked all of it, and then whatever extra that he wasn't going to use, put it in a container, put it in the refrigerator, use it for something else. Whatever. Point being is this. All he's doing is recycling things that he's already done. And the main point of it is profit. If he can get through it a little bit better, or if the hand-holding is better off, and he can kind of breeze through the game, great. But really, it's all about profit. That's all it really comes down to. That's all a redemption run is. Just like how Tevin pointed out, as well as LSB, pointed out this whole thing with the retrospective streams. It's just another way for him to monetize old videos. That's all he's doing. And bleeding John and Howard yet again. That's why John and Howard videos always have to get slid in there in some way, shape, or form. It's no different. It's all about profit. And he's tired of seeing people who are younger than him, people that are smarter than him, and people that are more entertaining than him making all this money. He sits there and cries to you guys day in, day out. I'm a variety streamer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stuck or I'm not tethered to one type of game. I can play any game I want. And I can do well at it. And people love to watch me play it. Despite the fact that when he plays retro games, no one gives a fuck. And when he plays new games, he can't garner their attention because the game's too goddamn hard. While someone else can sit there and play Fortnite and they know exactly what to expect because they know exactly what people are coming to see. Just like people who play Death by Daylight. This is a game I've been getting into lately. Or 7 Days to Die, another game I've been getting into lately. I love watching them, but I've been recently just starting to play them. That shit is fun, and there's a community for all that. And there's a viewership for all of that. So Phil sits there and keeps telling you variety streamer, variety this, variety that, variety shit. At the end of the day, if you, as a person, as a streamer, are shit, it doesn't matter what game you play. And you might get your little couple $100 that day, that night, whatever. It's still short term. It's short money. And last time I checked, big bank always takes little bank. And that's what it comes down to. His variety streaming means nothing to anybody but him. He continues, as I've said, he continues to treat this shit like YouTube. Every stream is nothing more than a YouTube recording session. Hence the reason why the meme, time to turn on YouTube mode, is a thing. Because people are picking up on it. That's all it is. Very self-explanatory, very straightforward. This shit is not complicated. He's literally like Amberlynn. Everything's in cycles. All of you know this. But that's what he is. He's in a cycle. No different than Amber. I need to actually put that video out. But, yeah. So that's what this comes down to. That's all it's ever been. That's all it ever will be.
Game. All the kiddies jumped on it when it was free. And now they all put microtransactions into it up the ass to get all the cosmetics and stuff. But the game is not very good for what I'm looking for in the game. So, no, Sam, this is a completely different situation because the situation...
Speaking of which, and I wanted to say this because I've been playing this a little bit too. I've been playing it on my PC though, not on my mobile. Call of Duty Mobile, if as successful as as well as it's doing and as successful as it seems, if that comes to console, Phil's fucked. Because I know Phil's gonna want to play it, but if it comes to console, he's screwed. He's gonna be screwed royally because he's definitely not gonna be able to compete. For one of the aspects of Phil, or DarkSydePhil, DSP, whatever, one of DSP's main shortcomings when it comes to FPS games and the fighting games too, to be honest, is he has to go with the most overpowered gun. He doesn't want to sit there and actually learn how to use a gun properly. Oh, is this the most overpowered? Does this kill the quickest? Great. But if you don't have aim, if you don't have reactions, and you don't have reflexes, who cares? Who cares? For as much as he shits on Wings, if he actually watched some of Wings' streams, he'd learn that. And that's why he fails. Same thing he does with fighting games. Mainly, though, like Mortal Kombat, some of those other games. He wants to find the most OP shit that shouldn't be beaten. You know what I'm saying? He wants to find the OP moves that with the most invincibility or with the most frame advantage so he can just abuse that over and over again. Well, that doesn't make you an FGC player. It makes you a scrub. That's what it does. It makes you a scrub. And you can always beat a scrub. Because eventually, even the most abusive tactic can be beaten. You see that in Super Turbo all the time. Hence the reason why he's running from Evil AJ. He doesn't want to take the time to learn anything. That's the problem. It's amazing. Isn't it amazing, ladies and gentlemen, that every game that's complete and total shit is because it has some type of learning curve to it, or it requires a little bit more money, or a little bit more money. That's funny. Microtransactions is what I was thinking about. That requires a little bit more time than what he's willing to put into it. If he can't fit it into his little 4-hour gap, it's not worth it. Maybe if he just shut the fuck up with these pre-streams and made them 15, 20 minutes and just move the fuck on, he might get a little bit more out of it. But that's neither here nor there. He's the successful businessman who makes 6 figures a year, even though he probably has double of that in debt. But whatever, it is what it is, right? He knows what he's doing. He's been doing. This isn't his first rodeo. He's been around the block for a long time. He knows what he needs to do, despite the fact that when tips are down, when contributions are down, when viewership is down, we cry and complain about shit. Right? The limitations that are on Phil and that translates to his gameplay is only a reflection of who he is as a person. He does, and I say that because he does this all day. He doesn't work 10 to 12 hours. He doesn't actually have a career to go to. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't have family that he generally associates with outside of them giving him money. He has nobody. He sits on his ass all day and does a whole lot of goddamn nothing. But he tries to make himself seem like he's busy. He tries to make himself seem like he's doing something. But he's not. He's not doing a goddamn thing. At all. So he has all the time in the world to get better at these games, to fully immerse himself into it. But he don't want to. He just wants to play Dark Souls and Street Fighter all fucking day. And if he could do that and get paid for it, he would. But he would still screw himself, at least with Street Fighter, because his ego's too goddamn big. Do you really see Phil doing a 6-hour session? Fuck that. A 4-hour session of Street Fighter and losing the majority of it? No. Hell no. His ego's too small. Well, his ego's too big, but it's certainly too small. He'd never be able to do that. No matter how much money he was making. He might pull it off for a week or two, but eventually it's going to get the best of him. Oh, so Phil sucks. Phil, you're horrible. How the fuck did you make 4th place at EVO in 2005 if you play this bad? And it's just going to start to irk him. It's going to start to irk him. And he goes to Kiwi Farms and reads Kiwi Farms every day, so he knows what they say about him over there. He's watching Detractors on Twitter. He knows what they're saying about him. He can't live with that. And this is a prison, ladies and gentlemen, all of his own making, of his own construction. He did it to himself.
Here, is that I tried Fortnite. I know what Fortnite is. I'm in it all the time. I hear about it on my streams. I hear about it on social media. I know exactly what the game is. I don't like it. That's okay for me not to like it. All right? But I'm not going to sit here and shit on anyone who wants to play it. You want to play it, go ahead and play it.
But you've already done that. And you shitted on other people who've liked games that you've liked that they didn't. Didn't you tell them? Didn't you tell people, Phil, that, oh, I understand you guys keep saying you guys don't like the game or you don't think it's fun, you don't think it's entertaining. Why don't you guys give it a goddamn chance? I'm tired of you guys coming in here and just shitting on stuff. It's not a AAA release. It's not a well-known title. Just give it a chance, guys. I'm playing it. I'm having a good time. Why can't you guys just sit there and settle with that? Isn't that something that Phil has said? But then when it comes to Fortnite, oh, I don't like Fortnite. I should have my opinion on that. It's okay for me not to like it. You guys got to deal with it. But if it's a game that he likes, though, apparently this is the gulags. This is like the level below Goutopia, where we imprison all the false mods and all that shit. You guys go to the gulags. That's where you guys are going to go. If you guys do not agree with me, that's where you guys are going to go. Sorry, but it is what it is. And then after that, they get exiled. If they live long enough. Socially live long enough. I mean, if they don't get doxxed. Which is, according to Kiwi Farms, them dudes over there are dropping like flies. There's at least 3 or 4 people that got ripped in the last week or so, I guess. Like, they're on a roll over there. So, yet again, it's funny how the scales of Goutopian justice, it goes both ways. But he always wants everything the way in his favor. That's not a good streamer. That's not even a good person.
You know, personally, I don't like the game, and I'm not going to play it. I know there's fads around it. I don't care. I don't enjoy it. I don't think it's a good battle royale game for something that I would want to do, and therefore, please stop bugging me about it. It's all I can really say. Like, you know, it's obvious that people want to bug me about this fucking thing. Because they want me to play what's popular. And I understand that. So, oh, you're missing on a big opportunity. Fortnite's so hot right now. When I played Fortnite, it didn't bring in any viewers. I'm serious. Like, people didn't really care about me playing Fortnite because I didn't care about the game. If I were sitting here super hyped about the game and kissing the game's butt and whatever, then maybe it would bring in some attention. But I'm not going to do that because I don't like it. I'm not going to lie about it and say I like it and do fucking banana hammock conga lines through the game and stupid ass fucking stunts on stream and act like a general fool for you to try to make Fortnite entertaining on my streams. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Instead, I'm going to do stuff that I enjoy, like what I'm doing right now, chilling in Minecraft, having fun with you guys, interacting. That's fun to me. Not.
It's fun to you to have what? Top cheer is 210. Top tip is $2, and total tips are $13 out of 100. Yeah, it's real fun. It's real entertaining. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you do what you want, right? That's the results. TSP News.
That stupid Fortnite shit. I'm sorry. If you like it, great. Good for you. Well on you. Go play it and have fun. But I'm not going to waste my time on it because I don't like it. Okay? Unlimited Frog and Cheered said, What if the top PSN credits contributor got to name the ghost? It would help raise credits to afford the new games. No, what I was saying was, if someone tonight were actually to get me credits on PlayStation Network or Nintendo Switch, because remember I have to get Luigi's Mansion 3 as well. If someone were to give me credits and I received the email confirmation of it, I would consider them the top contributor. All right, I would. The thing is, I would have to verify it, and that's the kind of a tricky part. Like, let's say, for example, right now you send me a code and say, oh, this is a code for $100 on PSN. Great, but now I have to go on PSN to enter it and confirm it. You see what I mean? Until I do that, I can't say you're officially the top contributor of the night and let you know that you need to tell me what to build next week or whatever, right? So it's a little bit trickier there, but no, I would consider people who give me stuff on my Amazon wish list as part of the contributors for the night, and someone could easily become top contributor that way because the top contribution tonight is only 210 bits from Sambuca. Pretty easy to top that, right?
Pretty easy to top it, yet no one's done it. Now, hasn't he complained before about, oh, you guys can't change the rules on the fly? We established that the top contributor on this stream, through either bits or through tips, wins. Now all of a sudden we're gonna go ahead and let codes, or we're gonna let credits now become a thing. Fair enough. Now he says, oh, that's gonna be tricky. How's it tricky? If someone says, I've sent you $100 in credits, since Phil is on his phone during the chill streams anyway, take a couple of minutes, which is what he's going to do anyway. He doesn't give a fuck about YouTube, so he's going to derail the video anyway, and the stream itself. Go ahead and derail the stream, put the code in. If it works, bam. That shouldn't take you any more than 2 or 3 minutes. So how is that any more of an issue than when a big donation comes through by Planet Jeff, because I'm not going to put his real name out there, and Phil goes to his phone and goes ahead and verifies it and makes sure the money's in his account and possibly moves the money immediately before it can get charged back. How is that any more or any less of a hassle or tricky? It sounds to me like he knows that he's going to get trolled that way, which more likely he will. That's more likely what's going to end up happening. So with that being said, you accept it for what it is and move the fuck on. You sat there and got strung along on during Emailgate over those statues. This is no different. And it just shows, yet again, as I said through Emailgate, on how desperate he is. That's how quick he's willing to chase the dollar. That in a lot of ways, he'll humiliate himself to get it. Well, if you're willing to humiliate yourself, then people will take advantage of that situation. It's no different. Yet again, he put himself into this box. So now you expect people not to prod you? You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You were so scared that you put yourself in the box in the first place. What are you going to do? Come out now and face the music? I don't know.
Okay. Someone's giving me some suggestions. Someone wrote me an email basically saying, I feel a lot of people can't watch your daily streams, and they feel like the daily archives is way too much to keep track of on YouTube, and therefore what I should do is I should do like the month in review video, where once a month, am I doing this right? Yes. Once a month, I do like an edited video that recaps the highlights of everything that I did, so that then if someone wants to go back and watch the highlights on YouTube, they can. That was the whole step right there. Yeah, it was. So listen, I appreciate the suggestion. The thing is, even though what you're saying may, who knows, maybe it would give a little bit of extra attention to my channel for a few people. I, number one, don't have a video editor. I have a very cheap free video editor that is slow. Oh, wait, I forgot a staircase. I need to put a staircase right here. I have a cheap video editor that's slow as dirt. So if I
So having a cheap video editor is the same as not having a video editor at all? Is that what it is? And you say that's slow as dirt. What do you have to do? What is it about your day that you could be spending, right? That's so much more productive than maybe you trying to make some edited videos and maybe try to drum up some support. You know, maybe on KO Gaming. What do you have to do that's so precious with your time? What, it's going to cut into your wrestling, into your gin drink? You could probably your gin drinking. You could probably do all of that and still try to edit a video. It's not like, you know, it's not like you have any real editing skills anyway. You could have learned, but you chose not to. You could have just had Pan to do it. I don't know why you didn't, but whatever.
fuck. If I absolutely need to edit something, I have the capability of doing it. But I avoid it if I can because, frankly,
excuse me, because I don't want to face my problems and I want to do what I want, which is the bare fucking minimum. And I don't want to have to put effort into any of this, and I want to be paid to just exist. Is that what you want to say? If that's the case, man, to be honest, like I said, I don't have any problem with Patreon or anything, but he should plug it more. He just should.
Yeah. Because, frankly, I don't like video editing anymore. At one point, I was having a lot of fun with it until YouTube completely demonetized Dspgaming and took away any desire for me to ever want to do any kind of edited content for YouTube ever again.
So, video editing was fun until you couldn't profit off of it, and then it wasn't fun anymore. Okay.
Okay. So, even though I like the idea, this person's suggesting, oh, if you do the month in review and show the highlights of the games you played this month and do a cool edited 20-minute video for YouTube to get people into it, then maybe they'll watch some of the stuff on YouTube. Number one, maybe a few hundred people. I doubt it's going to be that much of an impact, so I don't think it's worth it. He suggested uploading it to KO Gaming. No one checks KO Gaming anymore. If I started uploading videos there, no one would check it, and no one would even look at it. Despite the fact that when Spamgate happened and he was forced to go over to KO Gaming, well, he wasn't forced to. He could have gone to King of Hate Vlogs, but whatever. But he went to, when he was forced, in air quotes, to go to KO Gaming, he still got views. Some people argue that his views were progressively getting better than they were on Dspgaming. But as soon as he got Dspgaming back, KO Gaming's demonetized. I got to go back to Dspgaming again. It's funny how that happened too. I'm a live streamer. I have to be here 6 days a week full time, to make ends meet. I don't have time to sit away from streams to edit videos anymore. I don't even have the freaking I don't even have the ability to do it anymore. So
we can sit up till 4 o'clock in the morning drinking, watching Kiwi Farms and Twitter, and watching wrestling, but we can't edit a video. And maybe try to drum up some more support on a dead channel, allegedly, being KO Gaming. And maybe you could go ahead and plug Patreon through KO Gaming. Yeah, I guess that requires a little too much.
That's that. All right, that's that. Okay, we got a guy going absolutely crazy and stupid in the stream chat. He's out of there quickly. Someone asked me to check my email. My email is not updated since 7:35. So, I'll try to refresh my email, but it's going to take a bit. Okay.
How does it take a bit to... What? What email service is he using? I can do it instantly. Okay.
Excuse me. Chill Yakuza, dude. I can't check my email.
So how is it that he can get automatic email alerts when someone tips him, but now he can't check his own email to look for whatever it is that's being sent to him? So how does that work? Did you prioritize basically PayPal and anything that you get off Streamlabs over any other regular emails? But I thought you get business emails all the time, though. Yeah, sure, whatever.
All right, hold on. Now I can. It's updating. Allow the email to update. Okay. Once it does, I can check and see if this code is legit, and if it is, I can put you up on the leaderboard for top contribution of the night. If this indeed is legit, this is very helpful, so thank you. Let's see if this is legit. I can do this on the fly.
It sounds to me like he was stalling. Maybe he was waiting to see if he could verify how large the actual, you know, credits, the accumulation of the credits were. Maybe he could use that to bleed everybody else out for tips later. If I had to guess, that's probably what he was going for. I mean, granted, he has to verify and hope that it's legit first.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I should sleep. There we go. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Redeem codes. Okay, let's try this.
Now, I want you guys to think about all this dead air that you're listening to, right? So we can go ahead, we can derail all this for money. For that sweet, sweet cash. But if someone brings up something that's either considered a detractor meme, or something like something that has to do with politics, or just some particular talking point that Phil knows nothing about or doesn't want to talk about, that's considered derailment, and you can be timed out or banned. And also, he doesn't want to derail the streams, because if it does derail, then he's screwing up the YouTube video, which is supposed to go on an archive channel, which is there for those people who don't have good enough internet that can't watch streams. So basically, this is Microsoft. This is Xbox 360 all over again. When the Xbox, when the new Xbox system was coming out. That's basically what it is. Oh, you guys don't have good enough internet? Okay, that's fine. Then you guys don't have to get the new console. Go ahead and just take the 360. We already have a product on the market for you. Same concept. But not just that, but yet again, it's okay to derail all of this shit for his sake, but for a talking point, which is probably an innocent point at best, at times, everybody else gets shouted on and possibly gets banned for. And the Xbox One is what I meant to say. Sorry about that. How does any of this make any sense at all? And more importantly, if it is, why does he keep complaining about, I'm not making any money on YouTube, when he does stuff like this that just kills the YouTube video? It doesn't matter the fact that he's making longer videos. It doesn't even matter that he has more ad rolls in the video. If the video's still trash, no one's going to watch it. Or they're going to barely watch it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
And the code is not legit. So the guy's an asshole. And this is why I didn't want to do that. Is because now I just derailed my stream for like 2 minutes trying to put in a stupid PSN code. And it's not legit. The guy's just a dickhead. And he's trying to waste all of our fucking time. So I tried it. Didn't work. The guy's a dickhead. He sent me a fake code. We knew that was going to happen, right? Okay, hold on.
So he's literally taking his time to try to ban the guy? Oh, wow.
Alright, I know who it is, and now they're getting banned. Alright, enjoy your ban, dickhead, for sending me a fake code and wasting everyone's fucking time, you piece of shit. All right. Anyway.
Now, this is from the same idiot who says that don't send me tips or don't send me cheers to get unbanned because I don't have time to do that. Go through proper channels. But he did this thing for the credits. The credits turned out to be false. He could have just taken the L on that and moved off of it, but couldn't because his ego's too damn big and his personality is too damn small. So then he had to go ahead and scroll up to try to find the guy so he could ban him. Wow.
Let's continue. Ice Crowbar took me $3 and says, how's Jasper? Jasper is good. He's spending a lot of time with Kat this week. When I left them, they were out there napping in the living room together after dinner. We had all eaten together and, you know, called my parents for the week. Had a nice conversation with my parents about how stuff's going. and then
your parents agreed to send you the money?
And then basically, relaxed for a little bit, talked a little bit about the coming week, and then she and Jasper laid down and kind of started taking a nap on the couch, and I said I had to come upstairs to stream, so that's where they are. I haven't heard a jingle or anything outside my door, so they're not there yet. So Jasper will probably be returning to streams around the middle of this coming week. You know, since Kat has been on vacation, I have not had Jasper in here for a stream because he's spending a lot of time with her. Which, by the way, he loves the fact that she's around. He absolutely loves the fact that she's around the house all day because usually she's at work, I'm streaming, so he just kind of like hangs out in the house by himself. And, you know, there's a lot to do, don't get me wrong. He's got a cat tree, he's got toys, he's got multiple windows to crawl in. He runs around, he does all kinds of stuff.
Sounds like child neglect in a way, if you think about it. Obviously, he's not a child, but that's kind of what that sounds like. And that just made me think about something. So, let's say, going off my theory that Kat is pregnant, and let's say she doesn't go back to work right away. Let's say she doesn't go back to work at all. How's Phil going to be able to pay the bills? Because a newborn's going to definitely be a pull on the finances. Especially for the first couple of, not even past the first couple months, but for the foreseed years. You know what I'm saying? For the years to come. How's he gonna pull that off? Let's see if that $100,000 a year actually let's see if that can put bacon on the table then.
Back door. He loves the back door of the house, which is a big, you know, screen door / glass door, because he gets to see the whole backyard. And sometimes we get animals like squirrels and stuff back there that he likes to jump around and chase, or birds. He'll go crazy at the window. And over in our bedroom, our back window is a giant view of the entire giant back area, which is actually a dog walking park, but it's all these beautiful trees, grass, and we get all kinds of animals out there. Like we've seen wild.
Thanks, Phil, for telling us exactly where to find you. It's not going to be hard to narrow down exactly what house it is, because everybody's already seen Phil's house. Now he's sitting there basically telling you where he is. Thanks for doing that, Phil. Appreciate it. Got all these brain dead psychopaths out here, right? Got all these brain dead idiots. Got all these got all these mentally ill idiots running around here, but you want to tell them exactly where you are. Smart move. That's some 4D chess right there, buddy.
Rabbits and stuff out there, and he loves it. He just likes watching the animals all day long. Like, he's enamored with it. He coos at the birds and stuff. So it's not like when Kat's not here, he has nothing to do. But it's nice if it's a night stream, I open my door, he can come in and join us if he feels like it. But since she's been home, he's spending a ton of time with her, and he's loving that, you know. So he's basically getting very spoiled this week while she's home. Polish Frog, I have no idea. He says, do you have to pay sales tax when you use PSN credits to buy games? I think the way I would see it, I think the way it is the person whoever originally buys the credits has to pay the sales tax. Because it would be, think of it this way. If someone bought $100 of PSN credit, they pay sales tax on that, right? Whatever it is in your state or whatever in the United States. But then, if that person went to use to buy a game and they charge you sales tax again, that's double dipping. That's double sales tax. So as long as the person who bought the PSN credits paid sales tax on them already, then there's no additional sales tax, I guess. That's what I'm guessing. Then we got a troll saying...
Actually, that brings up a very interesting point. So, This was sent to me by a guy named James Crimson, who actually sent me an email. Pretty cool stuff, and it's actually funny how it fell into place. So there may be a bit of clairvoyance on his part. So the email is as follows. It says right here that Washington State sales tax. Washington State does have a sales tax on digital products, which is taxable in Washington, and it can be applied to all digital products, regardless of how they're accessed, whether by download, by streaming, subscription services, networks, etc. This includes downloading of digital goods like music, movies, streaming, and any other digital goods. Sales tax over there is at 6.5%. So, for the example that he put here, so when Phil buys Star Wars The Fallen Order, Phil will buy the game. When Phil buys the game, he will pay the $59.99 plus the 6.5 sales tax, which will put him at about $3.90, which will put him at the grand total of $63.89. Now, Phil says he doesn't know if he's going to have to pay the sales tax if someone sends him the credits. If I had to guess, and it actually kind of makes sense, to be honest, when the whoever it is who buys him, let's say $100 in credits, as he said before, when Phil goes to purchase the game, he will pay the tax on that. It's just the way it's going to go. Now, here's the real question, ladies and gentlemen, which is one that's been brought up multiple times. Thank you yet again to James Crimson for that. Good shit. I didn't know when I was going to be able to use that, but I'm glad I was able to use it then. Does Phil actually pay taxes on the money that is given to him, whether through credits, whether through, those tips behind the scenes, any of the case? He says tips are taxable. I'm sorry. So really, let me reword my question then. When it comes to any game, any credits, whether for Nintendo, PSN, or Xbox, does he have to pay taxes on that at the end of the year? The reason why I say that is not only because it's just a general question, but because he likes to write shit off as business expenses and this, that, and the third. Would that be considered a valid business expense, or would he have to pay taxes on it? But then that leads me to another question. Is it like paying taxes on a sizable gift, right? Like, not like something like if your grandmother give you like $1,000 or something and you pay tax on it. I'm not saying that. But what if you had a larger gift, if you will, like $10,000, for example? Would that be taxable? And if so, if given the amount of money that Phil is given through credits all throughout the whole year, would he have to pay a tax on that? On his, and I mean on his actual taxes, if you will. Would he have to pay a tax on that? You know what I mean? So just something to think about. Yet again, shouts out to James Crimson for that. I very much appreciate it.
Asking people to click on your ads isn't allowed either. That's right, and I did that in 2009 before I had any idea what the hell I was doing on YouTube. I said it erroneously in a video before I even monetized any gameplay videos at all. That was when I was only monetizing vlogs and the like. And admittedly, what I did when I did it, it was wrong. I mean, I know I did it because people have linked me to the video a million times. It was wrong to do. I was stupid about it, and I shouldn't have ever done that or said that.
You denied it, though, too, which is the reason why it's still a hot topic, because you did it. He actually did it twice. He did it after he got fired, and then he did it when he was on Blip. No, he did it right before Blip or right after Blip. One of the two. Can't remember now. But he did it twice. I know he definitely did it when he got fired, because I went over that video. And then he did it again later on. Actually, yeah, he did it twice. I know he definitely did it twice, but I'm trying to think if he had to have done it after he left Blip. Or right before he went on Blip, I think. One of the two, I'm sorry. It was one of the two, but he did do it twice. But he denied it. He denied that he ever did it. So the first one, theoretically, he made it sound like it didn't exist. And then he tried to point to the second one saying, you guys misinterpreted it. Oh, the detractors blew that shit out of proportion. Then they both got thrown into his face, and it got circulated around Twitter and Kiwi Farms, and then he couldn't deny nothing. So now that's why we're at where we're at now, where he said, I made a mistake. But it's too late, though, because you try to cover it up. And you blatantly lied for months, if not years, saying that it never happened. It didn't exist.
Years ago. That was 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago. 1 a decade ago, and you bring it up like it happened today. Who's the real asshole here?
What about you complaining about John and Howard? That was what? Over 5 years ago? Almost? What about that shit with PewDiePie when he took a shot at you over your fucking flapping situation? What was that? Over 3 or 4 years ago? How about you getting fired from Machinima? How about you getting fired from the helicopter company? The helicopter company was what, 15 years ago? No, it wasn't 15 years ago. It was over a decade ago. Because it was longer, because it was right around the time, obviously, when he got when he asked for people to click ads. But yet he still holds on to all of that. Right, Phil? 1-0 over a decade ago. But yet we still hold on to all that dumb shit.
Alrighty then. Anyway, Bayloaf to me $1 says, why don't you play Souls-like games? You always get contributions when you play those because, number one, I played a ton of them. They're kind of played out at this point. I hate to say it, they just are. I've played a ridiculous amount. This year, I already played Sekiro. I wanted to do a New Game Plus run in Sekiro, and no one wanted to see it, so I never did it.
Well, yeah, because you got handheld and you fucking looked up things in advance. You cheated. No one wants to see that bullshit. That's why.
All these Soulsborne knockoffs came out in this last month, and not one of them impressed me. And the truth of the matter is, if I played one of them, everyone would have complained that I didn't play the others. So, I wasn't interested in them whatsoever, so I didn't play them. So 2 wooden blocks and then 2 stairs on each side of each wooden block. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, you're right. Some people will come and contribute. On the flip side of that, Bayloaf, not always. Seriously, like, not always. Sometimes it seems like people will contribute and then they don't. Because they're just here to shit on me rather than actually to help or contribute. You see what I mean? Like, they'll sit here and shit on me constantly. But when it comes to actually contributing to help me out and keep things going, they won't do that. They're only here to make fun of me.
Basically, he's saying that they give him money, then they charge it back and he loses. That's basically what he's saying.
Rather than to actually enjoy a fun stream. I noticed that a lot this year, in particular during the Sekiro stream, where a lot of people were here just to laugh at me and no one really contributed during certain streams, which is honestly why I was a little bit skeptical about doing another Soulsborne style game at this point. When right now, I really want to do stuff that people are going to like and enjoy and find engaging and fun and are going to want to help with contributions to the like. I don't want to just do something that it just attracts the wrong kind of people for the wrong reasons. You see what I mean?
Because he's not interested in the money. He wants to be praised too. Like, you can't, holy shit. Like, you're a shit person. And you shouldn't, not that I would expect you to necessarily. You know what kind of people are around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand what your demographic is. I mean, shit, even the people who give you money, who are paid pigs, probably don't even like you that much. But he wants everybody to like him first and then give him money. Under the pretense that, oh, if you really, really like him, you'll give him even more money. That's disgusting. And people can see through it. People should have been able to see through it after Brightside Viking fell on his battle axe for you. But it's neither here nor there, I guess.
With the retro stuff I've been doing recently, it's been the complete and utter opposite. Where it's been like a lot of positive people coming by to hang out with me and to really, you know, not only enjoy the retro vibe that I'm doing during those streams, but to help me out as well, which is really nice. So, okay. M5NSX Judy says, you used to live in a bad part of Connecticut. Did you ever hear gunshots outside your house? Yes. Yes. There was a group of gang member kids who would sit behind our fence and smoke pot every single night. And no one cared. If you called the cops or whatever, no one would come. No one gave a shit. There were gunshots that would regularly run out around our neighborhoods. Not that it would be right outside my house, but like a street or two over. Yeah, it was bad. It was fucking bad. I did not live in a good spot. I wanted to move, and my parents just would not listen to me. I was like, God, you know, I want to be somewhere safe. I'm gonna live. I want to live. You know, I don't want to die for some dumb fucking reason. You know.
Now, I'm sorry. Were you putting in on this mortgage payment? No. Were you? Oh, you were sitting there bitching about a fucking Wolverine action figure. Yeah, I wouldn't take you very seriously. And it's funny too because if supposedly You got these kids, these gang members, if you will. Wonder what color they were. We're out back smoking weed behind your fence, which is pretty much on his property line or close to it. And you guys call the cops and nothing ever happened. I find it strange that your parents wouldn't have been somewhat concerned about that. That seems a bit strange. Then you say gunshots ran out, but they were like 2 or 3 streets over. Okay. That might have happened. But then again, it's still really rather interesting that your parents still didn't decide to move. It's almost as if your neighborhood wasn't as bad as you thought it was. I think you saw the negative elements that was in your neighborhood or the surrounding neighborhoods, and you just wanted to get up and out. You're sitting here talking this bullshit about I wanted to live, but you lived only 15 minutes away from your parents when you got your first condo. So how good was your neighborhood exactly? And we've all seen that rundown piece of shit of a condo that you used to live in. It didn't look that much better. Just saying. 15 minutes is 15 minutes. For most traditional gangs, that would still be within their radius. It would still be within their territory, if you will. Not that big of a deal. If not, it's definitely leading into another gang's neighborhood. So you just kind of moved out of one bad element into another. I don't know. Semantics, I guess.
And my parents just didn't understand that because they had grown up there their whole lives. And to them, that was their home. And they never wanted to leave. And they're like, no, we're going to be here forever. I was like, wow, you guys just don't understand life. Like,
they don't understand life, yet you're still alive. And they're still alive. And even that drug addicted cousin of yours is still alive, if she's still on drugs, of course. And yeah, it doesn't seem like it was all that bad. Just saying. Everybody still seems to make it out alive. It seems like a thing. I mean, everybody in your immediate family, of course. I mean, of course, you could bring up T. You know, that one guy that if he had lived, you'd probably be the best Street Fighter player out there, and you probably would have won EVO 2005. You know that guy? You remember that guy, right? But, you know, semantics, though, yet again, right? And what did you do to live? You sat there in your condo, got drunk every night, played video games until you got fired from your actual job. Then you met some underage chick on YouTube. Arguably, you groomed her until she became of age. And then you moved her away. You ripped her away from her family, taking her all the way across country and made her your live-in maid. Was that living? And then you lost her because you exploited her, right? You exploited her illness and whatnot, her situation, if you will. And then you convinced another chick from the Midwest to come in and move in with you and be your new maid. How's that living? Now, you're married, a marriage that you had to hide from people who give you money, so it would be assumed on some level, because I don't want to contradict what I said before, that they at least like you or care about your well-being or whatever. You hid the marriage from them, and then when you finally let it out, you made it seem like it was such a big thing and people were going to give you a bunch of money for it. And then you hide the fact that you had a cat and charge $2,000 to reveal that. How is that living? On top of that, you don't go anywhere. You don't do anything. You leave your house once a week. Once a week. To run errands. But you can't do anything. You can't drive you can't drive, basically. That's what it seems like. Or you can't drive very far. You can't, and because of his bad back is what I'm saying. You can't drive on the highway. You can't lift anything over 25 pounds without a hand cart. You're useless. You're a talking headpiece for the most part. You don't know how to do anything. You don't do anything. You don't know nothing about even your own state. I doubt you know anything about your own city. Or your own province, or whatever Renton is. You know nothing. You are nothing. But yet you want to sit there and chastise your parents for not living, saying because you wanted to live in a better place? It sounds to me that where you lived wasn't that bad. Every place is rough, to at least some degree. But what? Was your mom and dad supposed to move somewhere more affluent? And then maybe you would have gotten into those Ivy League schools? But didn't you say that you weren't an Afro-American male or whatever? Or whatever the basketball meme is. So you're saying you weren't black. And your parents didn't have money, and that's why you couldn't get into an Ivy League school. So how would you moving to another neighborhood be any better? How is that going to work? And then theoretically, one could say that you were gutting for your father's job when you were working at your father's company, so to speak. Some could say that you were trying to go after your dad's job, which seems a bit egregious, being that he's the one who got you the job, and then you try to go after it. And then you made it sound like you were disgruntled and you were going to leave because your father made basically $100,000 a year and you were only making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and you felt like you should be making $100,000 too. When you said that you were doing the exact same work, but the problem is your father was still the head of that department, which means that you weren't actually doing you weren't actually doing your father's work. So why would you expect to get paid what he was getting paid? You were never a head of that department. You were an aspect of it. I don't know. Semantics, I'm sure.
I understand nostalgia or whatever, but like at some point you got to move on and cut your losses and say, fuck this place. Like, I understand you grew up in a place, but the other thing is, like, at one point my mom had relatives there and stuff, but they're all gone. There's like one person left alive. I'm not even kidding. There's like just very few people left in Connecticut who my parents are related to, who there's a reason why they would need to stay there. And
so we went from one person that's still alive to now a few people. I mean, pick or choose. What did they die of? They died of gout too? Just saying.
It blew me away that they just refused to fucking leave. I was like, you could come anywhere else in the country. Would be safer than where you are right now. I don't understand it. They didn't listen. They didn't want to listen.
Listen to how frustrated he was in that too. That's something very deep-seated. That is something very deep-seated. And it might go back to, we're a little bit of lore here. Didn't he say, because I remember Tevin went over that video in one of his Back in Time segments, about, he had a friend of his who, like, was rich, I guess, or at least was well off, and had a really nice car and had a huge house and all that bullshit. Is that what it was, Phil? Did you know rich people, or at least people who were well off, or at least more well off than you were, and you got mad at that because you felt like you should have the same thing? But then again, shouldn't you be glad that your parents didn't make the moves that they needed to? Because if they had made those moves, you wouldn't have all the money you need so badly right now. It's almost as if maybe it was a good thing that they set roots there, because, I mean, nothing happened to them, so theoretically they're still safe. I know you said something about your father got stuck up, but, I mean, most people who are involved in an armed robbery usually get killed, or at least get shot. Your father didn't get shot, so under reasonable circumstances, it looks like he walked away. But I digress. If they had made the move that their fucking pipsqueak leech of a son told him to make, they probably wouldn't have had nearly as much money to pull his ass out of the fire now. And it's not like that would have changed his upbringing very much. He seems like a spoiled piece of shit back then. He's certainly one now. I don't think him moving to a much nicer neighborhood was going to change any of that. It wasn't going to make him appreciate what his parents did for him and to strive to do better. Because if you look at his entire YouTube history, it's starting to come across as he was just a bum who got drunk and was willing to play all the games possible. That was it. He got fired over this shit. Probably because he was showing up late to work, or he was calling out a lot, or he was just drunk and hungover. But that was working hard, though. That's part of the mythos of this 12-year legacy online, or on YouTube anyway. But really, he's nothing more than just he's nothing more than an alcoholic. He's a failure. He's a bum who sat around and played video games because he could do nothing else. And he drank all his problems away. But he had the nerve to come around here and tell you guys that he was entertaining. Imagine that.
No! Drunk Boris Yeltsin, my parents can afford to leave Connecticut. They just refuse. Let me put it this way. There's various reasons. My mom has certain reasons why she doesn't want to leave. My dad... There's just... Do I think they're very good reasons? No, I don't. But there's reasons that they claim that they don't want to leave. and I can't necessarily make them leave. I tried to convince them a million times. I said, why don't you come out here? There's plenty of places out here to move. The weather's better for you guys and your health. My dad could probably, you know, if he needed to even get a job for just a couple years to work at like Boeing or something, he probably could until he could retire or whatever. They just never listen. They would not listen.
Wait, didn't you say that the job market out there was nice in Connecticut, but or in Washington State, but you couldn't find a job, or you wouldn't be able to work a job and keep doing what you're doing? That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you were talking about losing your house, wasn't the original cover story is I wouldn't be able to find something else that would allow me to do what I'm doing now and have the space for my work and all of this, but yet your parents wouldn't be able to come out there and find something nice? 3, didn't you almost set the example, the mythos, if you will, that your parents don't have a whole lot of money, but now you're saying they can move clear across country like you did and be able to find something really, really nice? It's almost like, Phil, that you're leeching off your parents. It's almost like, Phil, your parents saved their money, almost every cent that they had, so they could, at least when they retire, they would be able to have a comfortable retirement. And you, knowing this, leached off them. You felt like that money was yours. That money, you were deserving of it. So you talk about how your father had such a hard time finding a job, but it sounded like he had enough money saved up to where, you know, he could take his time. And yet he still went out and found a job when this guy has, what, 2, 3 herniated discs in his back, allegedly, Phil? Isn't that the lore? And it sounds like for someone who was making 6 figures a year, it sounds like he did right by his money. It sounds like he invested and he certainly saved. And it sounds like him nor your mother were greedy, so they lived within their means. So they could have money saved away for retirement. So, you know, they could go out and travel and see the world and shit. Instead of moving on a whim because their fucking loser son felt the need that if he could have them closer, oh, I can leech off you guys a little bit better. Huh. Maybe you shouldn't have thought about moving clear across country. Maybe you should have stayed on the East Coast then. Then maybe that would have worked. It's funny, yet again, going back to my original point, if they had moved, they may have not have had the money that you come to depend on weekly, if not monthly. It sounds to me like they did the best move. It sounds to me like, even still, they're still trying to help you out because they're kind of putting their golden years in jeopardy to help their fuck-up son, excuse me, let me repeat that, to help their fuck-up son continue to live his dream at 37 years old of playing video games and having fun instead of maybe going out there and being responsible. Maybe doing something with his life instead of sitting there yelling at a bunch of kids and maybe actually have a life of his own. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Me. So I can't make them leave. And I can't make them do things, so it is what it is. They're gonna be there forever, I guess, till they pass away. Hello, Ellipsian. How's it going, man? By the way, Ellipsian, FYI, if you haven't noticed yet, Twitch is doing away with rooms. There's no more chat rooms. Like, there's no moderator room. Within a couple weeks, it'll be completely gone. So we already set up something new. Please join the moderator room and talk to the mods in there. They will give you the information on how to sign up for the new thing that the mods are going to communicate through. Because if you don't, we have no way to communicate, and therefore it's completely ineffective. And you are one of the few mods, I think there's like 4 mods who haven't signed up yet. And if people don't sign up by the end of the month, we may have to just say, oh, well, we're going to find new mods. Because obviously mods need a way to communicate, right? So please.
So that sounds like Discord. And if it is Discord, it's going to get leaked. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. Because anybody who's associated with Discord, that shit almost always gets leaked. Or there's always someone in there recording some shit. So big ups to that. Also, it's funny, because I don't know how long this guy has been a mod, but if he doesn't sign up for whatever the new contact program or however their means are to message each other, if he doesn't do it by the end of the month, he's just going to get up and replaced. It's amazing how he devalues people. It's absolutely amazing how he does it. But even more amazing, it's how he lets people be devalued. How he lets those people get cut down. Or how they let themselves get cut down, I should say. It's amazing how they're willing to do that. All to serve DarkSydePhil.
check it out and sign up, okay? I know it sucks. It sucks they're getting rid of it, but they're going to make it harder for us to communicate, but it is what it is. And until the next time we can play, thank you. I guarantee you we will continue with Minecraft when we get a chance. I just can't tell you when because it's so busy right now, but Minecraft will continue in the future. Thank you, everyone. And thanks for a great night. Thanks to everyone who contributed tonight. Philip Smelly Chair, the top cheerer. Silas Darko, the top tipper. Everyone was very positive and fun. We had a great amount of contributions, but also discussions tonight. Fun discussions that were really good. Sorry I started late, but now it is time to say goodnight. Peace out, everyone. See you later. So that's tonight. It's
wow. Just wow. Wow. Shit. Hold on a second.
2 hours of Minecraft chill stuff tonight. I hope you guys are excited. Please, guys, I have to be, up front here. If you want to help me out the most right now tonight, please either tip me or please, if you can check out my Amazon wish list by typing !wish list in the chat and getting me either some PlayStation Network credits or some Nintendo Shop credits so I can afford the games coming out in the next couple of weeks. I really need the help right now. That's one of the reasons why I'm a little late tonight. I was running around looking at my financials, realizing that some things are not as good as I thought they were. I'm like, oh shit. And got caught up with a bunch of stuff there, and that's why the stream started so late. And looking at the next month that I have to afford so many games, I'm really nervous. So please, if you can, contribute tonight. And you're going to...
Sorry, I just wanted to hear that part one more time. I'm sorry. It's just it's a thing. It's a thing.
Choose your fighter.
LAKEY inspired. Fight.
Sorry about that. I like how that song starts. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave the link to this in the description too. By the way, you should definitely check it out. It's a nice track. Okay, so what do we make of all this? One, I talked for incredibly too long, but it's been such a long time. So please forgive me for that. Minecraft, it is what it is. I don't think it's gonna be a complete rip and rest in pepperoni, or basketball American, I think is actually the term. My bad, I'm still kind of dwelling on that shit. But anyway, yeah. So Minecraft is gonna get ripped. Is not completely ripped in pepperoni, I should say, but it's gonna go on hiatus. It needs to. I've already gone on that long monologue on what the situation was with Street Fighter or Super Turbo. Hence the reason why it's going on. He's desperate, and he's desperate in a very unique sort of way, and yet he's still trying very, very hard, ladies and gentlemen, to fight like he's maintaining control, despite the fact that the control is actually not there. He's literally at somebody else's whim, and he can't do much about it. And I don't know what the actual the parameters of what his situation is, but it's not very good. It's obviously he's not ready. And at this particular point, given that him and the way he made it sound after dinner, it was him and Catherine were talking to his parents and so on and so forth. Not to say that they wouldn't want to speak to their, daughter-in-law, but if she was pregnant, they would like to probably hear from her. How is she feeling? How's she coming along? If she's not in direct contact with her family, which I wouldn't think she would be, maybe she's trying to maybe she would try to reestablish contact with them now that she's married, and especially if she got pregnant, I assume she'd want to speak to her mother, despite that dark bit of history with that. Maybe she'd want to, open up some type of dialogue with her mother, or at least her parents, maybe in general. But definitely talking to Phil's parents would be comforting, being that they hold some of the purse strings in that house. And, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be very interested in seeing, to be honest, if Mommy and Daddy Burnell would fly out if she is pregnant. Especially right around the time or maybe after the child's born. That would be interesting to see. And Phil's not going to stream during that because he wouldn't need to. Mommy and Daddy would pick up the slack. Between now and the end of the year is going to be pretty interesting. I think originally I said around September, October was going to be around that time. So theoretically, I'm still in my window. I'm still in my time frame. But who could say? I just find it very peculiar that all of a sudden, you know, not all of a sudden, but Catherine's taking a vacation. Seems like a long one. Could be the early stages of an extended vacation, if you will. And his desperation for money is at an all-time high, somewhat anyway. But like I said, the holiday season should be interesting. To be honest, I know I missed most of October, or most of this month, I should say. But back in, well, first of all, I have a bunch of stuff backlogged, and then when we get back into November and December, it should be a bit more stable. Because you know me, I love the holidays, so we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next video as soon as that comes out, whenever that may come out. Hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Networking Productions for the Snort Report Special Edition. I'm your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll wait for the next chapter of the DarkSydePhil manga. Should be it should be snortastic. See you guys for the next one. Take care of yourselves. Later.